Hey, it's Luke here and welcome back to the Transcending Thought channel and podcast. I'm combining psychology with spirituality in these videos to help you to heal and manifest a better life. In this video, it's going to hopefully be a quick one where I'm just going to guide you through the process of true healing and understanding what it means to find a true sense of inner peace. I'm going to guide you through what inner peace actually is, what it means, and how to find it. So a lot of people still don't know this, but peace and stillness and calm, these aren't emotions. They are who you are. Peace exists underneath emotions. The word emotion means to disturb. So what's being disturbed? It's your peace. If you picture yourself as a lake, in your natural state, you are the lake, calm and still. That's your natural state. And emotions are the ripples and the disturbances in the lake. Now, what's causing these ripples and disturbances? Most of the time, very often, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts are the pebbles and the rocks, or sometimes asteroids, getting thrown into the lake, causing constant disturbances. Your body cannot tell the difference between thoughts in your mind and something actually happening in the present moment, because of our minds are so powerful, so elusive, so seductive and so realistic. Your body can't tell the difference between something you're thinking about and truth or reality or things that are actually presenting themselves to you in the very present moment. Your body consistently reacts to your thoughts no matter what. So if your mind is constantly thinking all of the time, your body is going to consistently be reacting to those thoughts, and you'll never find peace, because it's constantly being covered up by the disturbances in the surface of the lake, the constant ripples, the constant emotional reactions. There's an emotional field to your body, and that emotional field is constantly reacting all of the time to what your mind is saying. So how do you begin to find that dimension of inner peace, the peace that passes all understanding, as some people call it? The way that you define the peace that passes all understanding is by learning to still your thinking mind. As your emotions are constantly reacting to what your mind is saying, if your mind were to quieten, if your mind were to still, what would happen to the emotions? They would still as well. And what would be left is your natural state of peace. All forms of meditation, all forms of mindfulness, all forms of spiritual practice in essence point you to this ability to quieten your thinking mind. The cause of the majority of human suffering is the inability to stop thinking, consistent fretting and worrying about past and future. All of the things that could go wrong, all of the things that did go wrong. That's the thinking mind's job. It's what it's evolved to do. It's evolved to consistently think about those things because it's evolved to keep you safe, not to keep you it's evolved to keep you safe, not to keep you happy. It's evolved to keep you alive. That's what its job is to do, is to keep you alive. That's what the thinking mind is there for. So its job is to consistently think about all of the possible problems that could come up, or that did come up, so you can learn how to not make them happen again. That's the mind's job. The issue is humans have lost control of it, and they don't know how to turn it off. So it just keeps doing that all day, every day. From the moment your eyes open, they just start thinking. It just starts up. You may not know this, but there's a brief moment when you open your eyes in the morning when your mind is quiet. Your mind is completely silent. And then it becomes cluttered with thoughts, with things, thought formations constantly arising in the mind non-stop. The question comes, what do those thought forms arise into? Follow that question there. What do your thoughts arise into? Where do your thoughts arise into, exist in? They exist in space, or emptiness, or formless peace, formless awareness. Your thoughts birth into a formless awareness, an inner spaciousness, an inner silence, an inner stillness. And these thoughts continuously arise into that inner space. The issue for many humans is that they have no access to the inner space anymore, the stillness, the silence in their minds, because their mind is too noisy and they are completely identified with thought. So how do you begin stilling the mind and returning that lake back to its natural state? You may know by now it's through realizing those thoughts are not who you are, realizing there is a dimension of who you are that is transcendent to thought, realizing that there is an awareness transcendent to the words that you hear. I often call it the listener of your thoughts, the silent watcher, the perceiving presence that hears your thoughts, sensing that higher awareness, that transcendent consciousness that is not the thoughts that you hear. Once you can become aware that there is thought in your mind, but also an awareness of thought, this is the process of transcending and awakening from identification with the thinking mind. In other words, awareness, formless awareness, is awakening from identification with thinking and creating space. Space in your mind that can silence and still the chaos that's constantly causing the emotional disturbances in your body. The foundation of all of this, of course, it's synonymous with this. Realizing the present moment is all that there is and aligning yourself with it. The moment you align yourself fully with the present moment, the moment you align yourself fully with this moment right now, the moment you realize there is no future to you right now outside of thinking. Where is future? Can you see it anywhere? Can you touch it? Can you taste it? Can you smell it? Can it touch you? Can it hurt you right now? Of course not. The future does not exist right now outside of your mind. Where is it? Anything that you're now calling for future will always present itself to you in the present moment, in the now. And of course, it's the same with the past. The past no longer exists outside of your memories. Where is the actual past? It doesn't exist. If you had an event that happened to you in the past, and you were to die, would that event still exist? Where is it? It doesn't exist anywhere. Past exists here. Future exists here. So the moment you transcend the mind, you enter the present moment. It's a synonymous. They are interchangeable processes there. But ultimately, your mind is consistently thinking because it believes there's a problem somewhere that it needs to solve. Your mind's job is to solve problems. It thinks there's a problem, so it continuously thinks how to solve the problem. Now, I believe the one problem the mind is trying to solve above everything else is it's trying to make you peaceful. Because I believe that is the one thing all humans crave more than anything else. Humans don't want money. Humans don't want financial freedom. Humans don't want the nicer car, the nicer house, the nicer relationship. Humans want these things because they believe it's going to bring them the thing that they're actually craving, which is a state of inner peace, an inner satisfaction, an inner wholeness, an inner completeness. Humans search for this state of inner peace through external things, thinking that these things will bring them that state, but ultimately, as you may know now, that's a delusion. External circumstances cannot make you peaceful. Not for any length of time. Maybe for an hour, maybe for a day, a few days. And then eventually the old egoic patterns will start up again and you'll start to feel uneasy. You'll start to worry again. You'll start to fret again. You'll start to look to future again. You'll start to ruminate on past again. The foundation of all of this is realizing no external future or past moment can bring you the peace you're craving, because the only moment that you can feel peaceful is this one, right now. So when you begin aligning yourself with this moment and accepting it fully, realizing the one thing that you crave more than anything else is your own inner peace, and realizing that the mind can't do this for you. You can't think your way to peace. Thinking is that which is blocking inner peace. Your thoughts are causing the emotional disturbances in your body, blocking the peace that is underneath the emotions, when all of that is realized, when the futility of consistent thinking is realized, when you know deep down in your essence what you are actually looking for is inner peace, and it arises when the mind slows down, when all of that happens, and that's truthfully sunk in, the mind begins to quieten on its own. I don't believe the mind is trying to harm you. I believe the mind is trying to help you. The mind is here to keep you safe and solve your problems. And the one problem it's trying to solve is, how do I bring this person peace? The issue is the mind can't do that. The only thing that can happen is the mind gets out of the way, the thinking mind, the thoughts move aside, and through present moment awareness, you give yourself a gap in the stream of thinking. And in that gap opens up the dimension of space within. The Buddha used to use the term shunyata to refer to this dimension of emptiness or formlessness or spaciousness. The spacious essence of peace. That which exists transcendent to, in between, underneath the forms that you see. The nothingness, the formlessness, the essence of life. Jesus used to always also have a term for this, which he used, which was heaven. The word heaven and sky in many languages is the same word. What is the sky? The sky is the absence of things. It's formlessness, it's spaciousness, it's nothingness. The sky isn't a thing, it's nothingness, it's the absence of things. And that's, of course, the definition of shunyata. It's the same teaching, I would suggest. So finding the kingdom of heaven, finding shunyata, finding the inner space, comes from sensing within yourself the transcendent awareness that you are behind and beyond the thoughts in your mind. Now, that is not a concept you have to think about. Don't follow that. What does this mean? Just become present, intensely conscious to your now, realizing there's nothing else. Past and future exists here in the mind. And the more you can align yourself with and accept and become one with the now, the thinking mind slows down, because as you now know, the thinking mind's job is to solve problems. And the one problem it's trying to solve is, how can I bring this person the one thing it craves the most, which is peace? But if you decide to give yourself peace right now, by moving attention from future, from past, and internally aligning yourself with what is in the here and now, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is what is, and you align yourself with it. You become conscious to it. You accept the present moment fully, and you simply allow it to be. The thinking mind slows down because you internally realize right now there's not really a problem. Right now, in the very now, very rarely is there a problem. Problems are of the thinking mind, past and future. When you come into the now fully and open up space in thought, between thought, and sense the formless awareness, there's no problems anymore, there's just things to do presently. One thing at a time. You have bills to pay, you do one thing at a time, presently. Not allowing the mind to turn it into a problem or a worry. You can pay your bills without worry, You simply do that by realizing the futility of worry. What does it do? The worry in your mind, what does it do? Does it achieve anything? Does it keep you safe? Can you operate in this world without it? Of course you can. Overcoming worry comes from seeing the futility of it and realizing that if you were to drop it and instead just be present here and now, things would be okay. And ultimately, the worry isn't doing anything. And you can give yourself rest from it now. So I hope that gives you a foundational understanding of the healing process. Peace, inner peace, is not an emotional state. Inner peace is your natural state underneath the disturbances of emotions. And you sense that deeper essence of yourself through present moment awareness and quietening the mind and understanding within yourself. There is a depth within you. There is a deep inner consciousness you are connected to. The one consciousness, the one being, presence, the one being, the one connecting source of all things. You are not separate from that. The form that you believe yourself to be is an illusion. Who you are, which I sometimes call the looking self, or the consciousness, or the awareness, formless awareness, that is invisible and it's connected to a deeper consciousness, the oneness of everything. So of course that's why I often say the purpose of spiritual practice is first to still the lake through present moment awareness and quietening the mind. You still the lake back to its natural state, but of course it's also to deepen the lake, because when you deepen yourself fully, you realize you are not a lake. You are an ocean. You are one with the ocean of being, and your form is a mere bubble, a mere ripple on top of the lake. This body is just a bubble on top of the lake, on top of the ocean. And when the bubble bursts, pops, you return back to the ocean. The ocean is just expressing itself in trillions of different life forms. That's all that's happening. When you can feel your rootedness in the ocean, the disturbances then no longer matter too much. So meditation, mindfulness, present moment awareness, inner reflection simply means sensing yourself as deeper than mind and body and realizing you are one with the ocean of being. And as that happens, a deep inner peace opens up to you because you are connecting yourself back to the ocean of being. You are connecting yourself back to Source, the source of all of life, commonly called God.